genes versus habits. Which one produces greatness? Hi everyone, Mazen here. Welcome to the Maximal Life. Can you alter your genes? I always thought genes and genetics were something you were just born with. I always thought when it comes to our genes, we all just have to play the hand we were dealt. At least that's what we were taught growing up. And it is a widely accepted belief that a person from a family who suffers from a certain cancer or chronic illnesses is clearly at high risk of experiencing the same. There is almost an attitude of resignation around the belief that we're stuck with our hereditary traits. Some may say, I can't help it, it's just in my genes. Now, let's imagine a baby who's being adopted. While going through the adoption process, the prospective parents review the medical history of the baby's biological family. They're dismayed to find that both sides of the child's biological family have cases of cardiovascular disease. The parents decide to consult a pediatrician about the child's likelihood of suffering that same fate. The hopeful parents arrive at the pediatrician's office with all the paperwork that they've gathered on their new baby's biological family. They even went on into a website that traces ancestry to drum up as many details as they thought may be helpful to the pediatrician. The new parents want to discuss the odds and the early prevention tactics. They're nervous. Sitting in the doctor's office, watching him as he flips through and reviews all the material that they've provided him with. The baby's biological father has asthma. There is heart disease in both grandfathers. The maternal grandmother had passed away from cancer. The adoptive parents think, maybe if we learn all we can somehow get ahead of these diseases. Maybe we can take precautions that will delay the onset of these issues in our inherent baby genes. The pediatrician reviews everything calmly. And when he's finished, he looks at the worried parents and says, there's really not much I can tell you about your baby's future health prospects until I review the medical history for the two of you. The couple is confused. They feel like maybe the doctor misunderstood the reason for their visit. But we aren't the biological parents, doctor. Why would you need our medical history? The baby does not share our genes. Yes, the doctor says, but the baby will be sharing your lifestyle. So just how important are genetics in determining our health, our happiness, our success? Is there anything we can do to change our genetics? At one time, medical science would have said no. Now we know the answer is a resounding yes. We can change our genetics. Let me share with you a shocking study that inspired my research for this topic. In Denmark, over 1,000 adopted children were monitored for genetic predispositions. The adopted children whose biological parents got cancer revealed no effect on the adopted children's prospects for also getting cancer. Not whatsoever. Now, personally, I found that hard to believe. You are telling me those children are overriding their genetic predisposition to cancer because they are being raised by someone else? That is just amazing. And then it got even more fascinating. Get this. The children whose adoptive parents got cancer became 5 times more likely to get cancer themselves. 5 times! What? How is that possible? Clearly, the adoptive parents did not pass on their genes, but what they did pass on were their habits, their lifestyle choices, their behaviorisms. And while genetics are important, it turns out that our habits are what matter most. Wow, that is some powerful insight. And there goes my favorite excuse for having a sweet tooth. Sorry, Pop, for blaming you all these years. But I can still blame my genetic for something, right? After all, there's nothing we can do to change them. Oh, but we can. We can change our genes' expression, literally change them at a structural and cellular level. In fact, as maximal achievers, we probably already have altered aspects of our genetic makeup. Seriously. And in my research, I found the most important biological discovery since DNA. Ever hear of epigenetics? It's an entirely new branch of genetics that was recently discovered and is being called the most important biological discovery since DNA. It is now known by the scientific community that while it's true that we do not have control over the genes we inherited, we do have control over which genes are actively affecting our lives. The word epigenetics literally translates to mean on top of genetics. Science has now proven that it is possible to get on top of and take control over how our inherent genes express themselves in our bodies and in our lives. It has been said that genes may load the gun, but it is our environment that pulls the trigger. Research in this new field of epigenetics is finding that it is the invisible hand of our environment and habits that most influence our health and longevity. The food choices we make, the chemicals we're regularly exposed to, how active we choose to be, and even how we socialize clearly and literally alter our health at the genetic level. Now we know our genes can be turned on or off, activated or deactivated, all in varying degrees, and all depending on our lifestyle factors. Renowned researcher Dr. Shaker Katharasian found DNA is not destiny. It is not deterministic for disease. Dr. Katharasian conducted an investigation for the American Heart Association and discovered that while genes can double the risk of heart disease, a good lifestyle will cut those odds in half. I like those odds. And he went on to say, you do have control over the problem, even if you were dealt a bad genetic hand. The most exciting part of this discovery is that we have the power. Habits may be hard to break, but they are still choices that we have control over. Now we know genes are no excuse for living unhealthy lifestyles. As maximal achievers, our choices are structured to give us the incremental edge. The body is a reporter and is always reporting the truth. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us about what we need and how we feel. This constant report is not sourced from an inherent genetic makeup, but the report of our body is the most current news. It is telling us what we need now to be healthy, comfortable, and energetic. And energy is the antidote to any challenge we face. Another mind-blowing experiment monitored participants who underwent just 3 months of major lifestyle adjustments consisting mainly of diet and exercise. Within those 3 months, every participant created changes in the activity of about 500 genes. The researchers found a consistent drop in activity within disease-promoting genes, including the gene most responsible for heart disease. And to top that all off with a cherry, every single participant showed an increase in activity within the genes most responsible for disease prevention. This study also revealed that high vegetable and healthy fruit input almost entirely negates the genetic mutations responsible for cardiovascular disease, which is a huge deal. It is time for a trip to the produce section. Yes, some genes can make us more prone to being overweight or having certain diseases, but there aren't any genes that prevent a person from choosing a healthy lifestyle. Our genetic hardware is not fixed. Genes can be turned on and off by both our experiences and our environment. While we may not be able to choose different genes, now we know we can alter the expression of the genes we have and the impact they have on our health and our longevity. I'd say it's something to celebrate. This great news our bodies have reported. Now it's time to start improving our habits to serve our maximal selves and give us the incremental edge. As best-selling author Hal Elrod said, "Let today be the day you give up who you've been for who you can become." Because food is a choice that we'll make several times a day, and it's a good idea to start there. I almost say we are only as good as our last meal. Our food is like an information code that we deliver into our cells, just like a software into a computer. All the food and the inputs we take in is processed, and the output become our result. How well our body functions, our energy, focus, performance, and our genetics are impacted by the food we give our bodies to process. Maximal achiever John Maxwell said, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine." You see, what may at first seem like small, inconsequential choices will begin to accumulate rapidly, especially when these choices are about food input and exercise. Regardless of our age, our location, or our genetic predisposition, we can make better choices in the moment. The body is a reporter, and the knowledge is already within us. Small decisions about how to act, move, eat, and sleep each day count way more than we are led to believe. Way more. In my personal experience, these small incremental choices, in fact, shape our very lives and how long we get to live them. What we eat, how much distress we undergo, and what toxins we're exposed to can alter the genetic legacy we pass on to our children and even our grandchildren. In this new science of epigenetics, we can explore how our habits combine to cause traits, behaviors, and illnesses that genes alone cannot explain. You obviously cannot change your family history, but you can, however, change your family's future and change your life trajectory. By making better choices, building better habits, and getting more positive input from your food and exercise and your interactions, you will make a huge difference in the world. Thank you all for allowing me to reveal the incredible discovery with you today. Maximal achievers are not just born, they are made when we commit ourselves to living the maximal life. If you like what you have seen and heard, please subscribe.